The fourth step of the forehand is the follow-through. From contact, I extend out in the direction that I'm hitting the tennis ball. And once I've extended out, I'm going to turn my forearm and my wrist over as one piece like I'm trying to check the time. And once I do that, I bring the tennis racket across to the other side of my body in a smooth and relaxed motion. Now, if we go back to contact, the other thing you'll notice is that I continue to rotate my upper body after I make contact. And the combination of extending out, turning your forearm and wrist over, and continuing to rotate your upper body will allow you to decelerate your body and the tennis racket smoothly after you hit the ball. From contact, Frank extends out in the direction that he's hitting the tennis ball. And once he's extended out, he begins to turn his forearm and wrist over like he has a watch on and he's trying to check the time. So I'd say right about here in his follow-through, if he was wearing a watch, he could see what time it is. If we go back to contact, he's going to continue to rotate his upper body after he hits the tennis ball. And again, the combination of these various steps is going to allow him to slow his body and the tennis racket down after he hits. Let's look at a couple pictures of Andy Roddick following through to see exactly how he decelerates his body and the racket smoothly. This is Andy having just made contact with the tennis ball, and he's extending out in the direction that he's hitting, and he's probably just begun to turn his forearm and wrist over like he was trying to check the time. In this next shot, now he's really turned his wrist and his forearm over. If he was wearing a watch, he could see what time it is, and he's also begun to bring his arm and the racket across his body in a smooth and relaxed motion, and he's continued to rotate his body a little bit. Finally, this is Andy at the completion of his follow-through. The racket is now up around his shoulder, and again, if he was wearing a watch, he could see what time it is. Now, this particular type of follow-through around the shoulder is one of the ways Andy can follow through, but sometimes he can also follow through like this or somewhere in between. I'm not going to get into the details of why he might follow through what way in this video, but the key with this follow-through or any other is that you'll always extend out in the direction that you're hitting. You'll always turn the forearm and wrist over like you're trying to check the time, and you'll always continue to rotate your upper body after you hit the ball.